Actually, hold on. Hold on. Absolutely. Now, speaking of Zoom, let me just hit this button.
Recording in progress.
There you go. Yeah. Can't edit all your shit out, buddy. And how's Lauren feeling? Fair, well, fair enough. Now, let's give your viewers, you're going to record this and post this. So let's give your viewers some background, some context. I'm going to ask some questions and do yourself a favor. Don't dox anybody, you know, just use her pronouns. Yeah? So now, okay. So you, Lauren, are 39 years of age, correct? Now, cool. Now, why don't you take me back to when you first met M? And what was that? How old were you? How old was she? You dog. All right. How'd you meet her? And when did you have your first date? Okay. And when did the next night happen or next date or whatever? Fair enough. Let me change the question. What did you like about her? What were you attracted to about her? What did you like?
Realized my mic was mute for YouTube, so good on that. But so yeah, that's kind of how we got to where that's where it started. You know,
Okay. And then, so how long, when you guys started dating, how long did that?
it took about it was probably about 4 or 5 months. No, it was out longer than that. It was about 6 months. So
6 months of just being friends?
yeah, 6 months of and when I say that, like, after a few months of us hanging out, it was to the point where I was staying at her house. Um, there was probably a good like 3 or 4 weeks where maybe longer, where I'd be over there and we'd be watching TV and I'd be sitting on the couch, she'd be laying on the couch and she'd fall asleep. She'd fall asleep like anywhere. And now she's asleep and I'm sitting here and I didn't want to wake her up. and stuff. So I would just sleep, just sitting up. I'd just be like, all right, well, here I am. And I did that for a while. And then eventually we started sleeping in her bed, um, like respectfully, whatever. She's like, you don't have to sleep on the couch. You can come sleep up here. So I'm like, okay. But we didn't have any romantic thing there. Like there was tension, I guess, on my end for sure. But she was kind of oblivious to it. And then it was around like a Halloween that year where we went to a Halloween party, get together, and one of her best friends was like, she's like, does Megan realize, or my bad, does she realize that you guys are like you guys are dating? And I was like, we've pretty much been dating, but she doesn't realize it. And she's like, how is that possible? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. And she's like, you guys don't make out or you guys don't sleep together? I'm like, no. And she's like, that's insane. And I was like, so it came to a point, came to a head, and we went out one night, everybody, and we got back, and we were just laying there in bed and one night, and I was just like, are you gonna kiss me or not? And she's like, no. I was like, what? Are you serious? And she's like, oh, it's complicate things. And I was like, seriously. And she ended up kissing me that night. We ended up hooking up that night. And then it was like the next day was like, well, that happened. Okay, well, I don't know. This dating is awkward and there's a lot happening here, and I don't know if I want to date you, and it's like so many moving parts. And we went through this phase where she'd pull away a little bit, and I'm like, all right. Like she wouldn't kiss me in the morning. She'd be like, get up, go to work, give her a kiss before I left. And some days she'd be like, nope, I don't want to do that. I'm like, all right, weird, but okay. And she was real hesitant until she wasn't. She was like, all right, well, we're going to give this a go. And I remember a lot of those moments, a lot of them, the progression of it and what it took to get there.
And then once it did progress, how long did the bliss last for?
It's about 6 months. I will say this, and people are going to say you make excuses, but we really didn't have a fair go of it. And it wasn't fair for us to be in the position that we ended up in, which was when we were started dating, like officially dating, like parents know about it, or boyfriend, girlfriend, people know about it. That kind of happened actually it was a little longer than that, longer than 6 months, because that kind of happened around the first of the year, which was my birthday, and she had a New Year's Eve party that year, and she came out and gave me a queso cake, which was funny because I love queso, and gave me a kiss for New Year's and stuff, and people were like, everyone in our friend group was like, oh, okay, that's a thing. So that was kind of like introducing it to everybody. And then we dated, and we just did this I go to your house, you come to my house deal, because I had the kids a certain schedule. When I didn't have the kids, I had a bag and I went and I stayed at her house. And then when I had the kids, she'd come to my house. And so we really spent probably 6 nights a week together for the entire time, for the most
For how
part.
long?
7 months, 7 months, something like that. And then we came to the conclusion, like, well, we can't do this forever. And I knew I told her that I was in love with her, and she was in love with me, and we needed to see if we could make it work beyond what we were doing. So it came to almost, in a way, a perfect storm, but the end result was a storm. And I say that because she had a very big attachment to her home, her house. It was her first house. She renovated it with her parents. She put a lot of work into it. She loved the house more than anything. It was the one thing that didn't treat her wrong. The house was always going to be there. And my family couldn't fit in her house. And the way that she lived was very OCD. Everything, like, I always said it was a JCPenney house. Like, everything has a spot. It goes in the spot. Don't touch it. It's in the spot. Don't mess with it. Don't look at it. This is where it goes. Everything. So even when I slept over there and stayed at her house, I mean, why, it'd be something like, why'd you, this was a weird one for me, but I always laughed. She unplugged her phone charger from the wall. So the phone charger is next to the bed. When she gets up in the morning, she unplugs the phone, she unplugs the charger, puts it back in the drawer. No one can see it. No one's there, just me and her. But she doesn't leave it plugged in. So it'd be like, all right, you didn't put your phone charger away. Okay, sorry. Like, doesn't use any power? Yeah, but it might. All right, cool. Those little things. So that's how she was about her home. Her home was always immaculately clean. Her home filthy would be like, no one would fucking ever notice, right? So it came to the point where it's like, you can move in with me. Now, the house that I was living in, I was renting. It was a big home, but it wasn't really nice inside. Not saying that it was a wreck. I mean, it was a 3,600 square foot home in a nice neighborhood. It just was basic. All the walls were the same color. It wasn't like a homey home. So she's like, well, it makes sense for me to move in with you, but I don't want to sell my house because that's a huge commitment. If it doesn't work out, then I'm really screwed. Okay, so rent the house. We had a pair of friends who happened to need a place to live. So I said, rent it to them. We know them, be easy. So she does. She rents it to them and moves in with me. And a month later, COVID lockdown happened. Maybe less than a month, maybe 2-3 weeks. Lockdown happens, right? And she no longer had to go to work. She worked from home. I had my kids previous to that, like one day during the week and then on the weekends. Well, that changed. Now they're homeschooled and now we're week on, week off. So I had my own business. I still got up and went to work every day. She no longer goes to work. She works from home. But now she's home with 2 kids who she knows, but they're not her kids. And now they have to do homeschool, which she's home for to kind of help them. But she still has to work, do her job. And also, I'm not there all day. And that change was like, I can kind of be the stepmom role to, well, I can ease myself into it to I'm fully in it and I'm unprepared for this, right? And I wasn't around enough. And I kind of went into survival mode myself because I looked at my business was like, well, this is a luxury business. This isn't a necessity type of business, right? People don't need what I do, which means at any moment I could have no money coming and I have big bills and I'm going to be fucked. So I went more so into the apparel side, but I worked at the shop all day. I get home at like 5:36. Our routine ended. Our gym, we used to go to the gym every night. I didn't have time to do that because I had to make dinner for the kids, do all this stuff. So I stopped going with her to the gym. Our routine got uprooted and my focus was survival. I have to take care of us. Her salary was cut by 30%. And I never asked her to pay a single bill at the house. She would help out buy some groceries sometimes, but I didn't ask her for anything. And she put some money into the relationship. She sold all my furniture because it was obviously not acceptable, and she bought new furniture. She spent money on that and trying to make the house a little homier for herself. And we went through the beginning of the lockdown with kids and school and stuff. That was stressful. To the holidays, which she loved more than anything. She loved the holidays. And it was really rough on her. Her family didn't accept our relationship really through that part of the year. And that took a toll on her. And Christmas took a toll on her. And then after New Year's, she was checked out. And I didn't know what to do. I had no idea what to do because I'm not an arguer. I'm just like, we can talk about it and we can fix it and we can work on it. But she checked out. She wasn't happy in the house. And, she goes, I'm just going to tell them that I'm not going to renew the lease after the 6 months, and I want to move back into my house. And I said, okay. And when she was moving out, it was like, we weren't broken up, but it was so sad. Like, I'm ready to cry, Jeff. Thinking about it. It was sad. We both cried, and it was like we failed each other. And then about a week or two after she was out of my house, she said that she didn't want to be my girlfriend anymore. She didn't want me out of her life, but she didn't want to be girlfriend and boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay. And we had some space between us a little bit. And then, we'd always come back to each other after that. And it was like, I don't want to be without you, and you don't want to be without me. Like, we missed each other a lot after that. And we went through a little phase where it was like we can be friends with benefits for a while, and that lasted for a short amount of time. And then she was like, yeah, I just don't, it means more to you, it means something different to you than it does to me. And I said, okay. And so we stopped doing that. And then we would go for this, like, where we would just see each other a few times, and then we went back into the cycle of I'm over there staying at her house. And I told her that I wouldn't do that again. I told her I wouldn't do the I'm at your house, you're at my house. And my reasoning for it was that she always had issues with my house being clean enough, or me picking up or taking care of the house. And I told her, I was like, I'm never home. I don't even have time to do it. I'm here. And so when I have the kids, I'm still working, and like I only have so much time. So if I'm going to stay at your house 4 days a week, like who's going to cut my grass, clean the house, vacuum? Like I have to be there to do it. Your house stays super clean. You're the only person that lives there. So I was like, I don't want to do that. And then she would end up bringing a bag and staying here one night, and then she has clothes here, and etc. And we just went back into that. And then we went through this year with kind of doing that again on and off, and had our little ups and downs over it. And when I moved again this year, it was really tough on me because I moved last year and she wasn't around for it. I did it on my own, and I felt super alone doing it. And then she came around. I mean, the house was nice. The house I moved into before this one was nice. It was, in a nicer neighborhood down the street from where I was. The house itself was really nice. If you're going on appearances, I mean, fuck, it was a $500,000 house. It was huge. It was nice. And she'd come around, oh, this place is nice. And then, she ends up staying there, and we go through our routine again. And I made a big change. And I made a few big changes, and mistakes that I made in my own life that really affected our relationship. Like, really affected it.
So share what mistakes.
Well, one of the big hurdles, like we were getting affectionate and she was kind of coming back around. I had an issue at my old shop, my old business, that got me arrested.
You told me about
Yeah,
that.
I did.
Yeah,
And
okay.
I've shared that on here as well, on my
Oh,
podcast.
okay, so how was that a mistake in your relationship?
I feel like in a way there was nothing I could do about it, but it set us back immensely. It set her back immensely. She pulled away more than she ever has when I got, and overnight. So she looked at it as like, well, this is a shit show. This
And
is a lot.
what month was this?
That was September.
September
Yeah.
of 2021 or
Yeah.
2020?
2021.
2021. September 2021.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you guys started getting serious January 2021.
January 2020. pre-COVID. I want to say 20, maybe January. Yeah, January 2020.
Okay, so January 2020, you guys started getting close. And then the Christmas okay, so January 2020, and then March happened. March, we all got locked down.
Yeah,
Okay. And then that Christmas, which is a big time for her, the holidays,
yeah, that's right.
problems with the
Problems.
parentals.
Yeah,
Okay. And
just everything.
then,
Problems with yeah. Christmas was rough.
okay, so problems with the parental. How did she feel about taking on the duties and the responsibilities of the
She
kids?
was pretty overwhelmed. She had expectations on herself of what she'd be like as a mom,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and she felt very overwhelmed by it all.
Yeah,
Like she wasn't good at it,
yeah,
and
yeah.
she never felt like a motherly figure to them. She always felt like a kind of a cool aunt ish.
Well, that's how it's supposed to be for the first while,
Yeah.
I believe. Um, okay. So where do you think, okay, so you believe that you failed her starting with the bullshit at work?
No, I mean that was a big setback for me. It put me into I had a panic attack after that. I was with her. I woke up in the morning and I had a legit panic attack. And she was there and it was scary for me. I've never experienced that before and she didn't know what to do and she was like, she still had to go to work and I was just
A
shut
mess.
down. I was shut down, and I was
Yeah.
like, and she was like, I don't want to leave you here like this, but I have to go. And I was like, it's to me, however long it takes, I'll get up and I'll make my way out of here. But just right now, I just need to stay right here, and I don't know what to do. And she was like, okay. It's just she was scared and she was worried about me, concerned, and then in October, I closed the business. I was out of it, and I was taking a big financial risk by doing all this. And I made some decisions that put me in a place in a very short period of time, in days, that would have put me in a financial place that would have been secure and fine. And at the end of that week, I made some decisions that cost me all of that money. And I was back to square one. And the day I lost that money, I, I legitimately was the only time I've ever had a suicidal thought in my fucking life. And I thought that that was it. And I was terrified to talk to her. I was terrified, to be like, I fucked up and I put myself in this position and I don't know how to get out of it. And it was fine. I had a big high and I had a huge low. And she was okay. She came over, she talked to me, and she was like, I told her I wasn't okay. And she said, well, it's all right. Like I've been there. I've had those kind of thoughts in my life and going to be okay and we'll figure it out. And she was positive and she picked me up and got me out of there. And it was hard, but she was there for me. But I know that if I didn't make that mistake and I didn't put myself into a financial shit show, that I would have been more stable and more secure, and she would have gravitated more toward that in our relationship. But it was definitely a big step back. And
So was it a step back because you were vulnerable and weak, or because of the finances and stress?
both, I think both. Um, in her life, the way that she was raised was you don't cry, you don't have emotions like that. She's never seen her dad cry in her life. Um,
She's seen
and
him drink, though.
she's definitely seen him drink. She's just never seen him cry. She's seen him
There's a
angry.
direct cor- There is a direct correlation between those two things, man.
And she's seen him angry and upset, and but never like me. And I told her, I told her at one point, I said, it's okay to cry. You'll never understand happiness if you cannot feel sadness. And I said, it's okay. Like, I know I'm a mess, but it's okay. And I have to get this out. And I've only seen her cry maybe 3 times or 4 times since I've known
Yeah,
her.
she's under the old school belief.
Yeah.
No,
And so very
we were raised
difficult.
that way. Me and my brothers, same
Yeah.
way.
So
Yeah.
that decision put me into a financial bad spot, and I still persevered, and I still got myself in a spot where I couldn't pay my rent in December, and I had to ask her for help. I didn't have anyone else to turn to, and I knew that she didn't have a lot of money. She was living with me again, pretty much, and it was humiliating for me, and I felt terrible even asking her to help. And she felt very uncomfortable by doing it. She's like, I don't feel comfortable doing this, but I'm not going to leave you in this position when I can help you. And
So,
she did. She helped me.
so this is a year and a half of dating.
This is this last December, so this is 6 months ago. So I had known her for over 2 years. Yeah.
Okay, but I mean the dating part. You're at a year and a half.
Well, we had been broken up for about 9 months at that point.
Oh, you're already okay.
Yeah, we were broken up. We were no longer
you
a
guys were
thing.
just like a steady friends with benefits, but she's like,
We were
because
friends with benefits for about 2 months after we broke up, and then we were just friends. We were just best
Okay.
friends.
So she was living at your house as just a friend.
Yeah,
Okay.
we lived together. We slept in the same bed. We shot.
And
We saw each other naked all the time.
no
She,
hanky panky.
no, I had tried to rekindle that, and we would kiss sometimes, but she just was shut down to the physical side of it. Like, she's like, I don't know why I don't feel that attraction to you. I don't know how to get it back. I don't know what clicked in my brain, what happened. She's like, and I feel terrible because I know that you want to be with me, and I don't know why I don't want to be with you, but I still want to be here. And I would sleep, we would spoon and all that stuff. I mean, it's like we would sit and watch TV shows together, and we were everything except having sex together. And it was to me, sometimes I felt slightly rejected by it, and the rest of me didn't mind it, because I've had relationships that were sexual and physical. Even my marriage was physical. We had sex up until almost I moved out of the house, but I never had the emotional connection that I had with her. And that I cherished so much. I cherished the person more than the intimacy. Did I miss intimacy? Absolutely. But would I trade it for the connection I had with her? No way. That trade off to me was not worth it in the least bit. And I was like, if I have to go this long to repair that relationship, then so be it. And we had great sexual chemistry together. And so I was like, man, don't you miss that? And sometimes she'd be like, oh, I mean, sometimes I kind of miss it, but she didn't really have a big sex drive. So
Do you think that's because of the antidepressants?
yeah, it factored into it for sure. She would say like, oh, well, no, I don't think it's really just the medication, but she's like, the medication does kind of numb the actual act of it sometimes. Like, it's harder for me to climax when I'm on it, but she's like, but she, and not to put like too much out there, but she doesn't self-pleasure at all. So it's not like she's fulfilling it some other way. It's like she either is sleeping with somebody or she's
Just no
not.
drive.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. And it was like, well, I was okay. And people are like, how can you be okay with that? I'm like, the connection I have for her, with her, fulfills me 98%. And like, and that's something that is hard for me, has been hard to find in my life. And I've only found that with one other person that I had a really strong connection with. And that person left me pretty fucking mangled up at the end of it all, but a different situation altogether.
So just to recap, you losing your or the financial hardships of the business, getting arrested over that idiot customer, and then getting into financial trouble, and then asking her to help out with some
Right.
bills. This is where you think you stepped back or went wrong?
I think it was they were big retractions in a physical attraction to me, in a security position. Like, is this person like, will I have security if I stay with you? Or will we be will we not be as stable in life? Like, could anything happen and just uproot us? You know, because prior to that, there was never, when I had my other business, I had a lot of debt, but I generated a lot of revenue. So I was accustomed to large bills, large amounts of money, right?
The American way.
30, $40,000 a month goes through my hands in that business. So
Damn.
when I get a bill for $1,000, I'm like, $1,000. Like, yeah, big deal. $100 is like, yeah, $100 to $100, right? I'm spending the money because that's what it takes to make money.
Yeah.
And her life was very frugal. Like, I'll eat cucumbers and carrots for dinner. Frugal, you know. And she's
Fair enough.
very non-wasteful, and she saw some of my lifestyle is somewhat wasteful. Like, the kids didn't eat all their food; they're going to waste a little bit of that. I'm like, I mean, if there's some macaroni and cheese left, it's, you don't need it all. It's okay, you know. It's
All
macaroni and
right.
cheese, but
Question for you. Where do you think she went wrong?
where do I think she went wrong with what?
You guys. You said both of us failed each other. So what is
Yeah,
that where did she fail you?
I think she failed me in having my back with the people in her life for a while. She backed me for a while, and then she gave up.
Okay.
And she let me down there.
Why
And
do you
that
think why do you
she
think she backed off or stopped backing you up?
um to go with a conversation we had before, blood's thicker than water. You know, that's it. It's the pressure from the people that she really wants approval from mattered more than a life with me. And I told her, I was like, I can't win this fight. There's nothing, I cannot win this. This is a fight I'm incapable of winning. I know that.
Well,
Like,
it shouldn't have been a fight, but I see what you're saying.
yeah, I mean, like, you know, it's, when you're here, it's amazing. And the outside pressure for you to not be here, it's not that it's like other dudes, other that it's literally
Well,
the parental
it's a
figure.
dude.
It's a dude, yeah. It's one person who
Yeah.
you seek approval from who highly disapproves. And that one person, it was just like, she really wants to be here, and she really wants to make this person happy and accept her. And you can't do both. And I lost.
Well, taking it as a W or an L is one way to look at it, you know. Another way to look at it as you have a standard to you in what you want in somebody, okay?
Right.
And she can't fulfill that. She can check off a whole bunch of other boxes, okay? But when it comes down to like if three of you are standing on a cliff, you, her, and her dad, you're going.
Right.
And it's like, and that's not a win, that's not a loss. That's just the way it is. It doesn't mean she doesn't care for you, doesn't mean she doesn't love you. It just doesn't mean, like, on a psychological level, she's got unresolved issues with him that never got fulfilled, and probably from such a young age,
Yeah.
and it's like, and just even going with, like, just the trajectory of how you guys met, how platonic it was, which is not bad, but
Right.
we can be friends with fucking anybody. We can't fuck everybody, can't have
Right.
sex with everybody, and we shouldn't want to have sex with everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, first of all, you're a fucking gentleman, straight up. And so let me just say that. You're thinking about the other person before yourself. And that will always make you feel like you took the L when it's over.
Yeah.
Because you were not selfish, you were selfless.
Right.
So when a good thing comes to an end and we were being selfless, then we're like, oh, I'll never do that again. Oh, I'm such a fool. Like, we just beat ourselves up because in that moment we weren't being selfish in those moments.
I'm not beating myself up like that. And I talked to my mom today about it. And, my mom was like, just got to give her space and time to miss you and to think about if she really does want to go through life without you. And I said, what tears me up is like, I know that she's struggling with things. I know that she's struggling with work and stress with the job that she doesn't want to do anymore. I know she's stressing with living at their house. I know she's got turmoil with our relationship. I know she's got issues with the family life. I know she has all of these things going on. And then when she got sick, and she told me how bad it was, I felt like I felt like she shouldn't have to go through that alone. Like, I felt like if it was me, if there's one person I'd want there, and that would be her. And I felt like I just left her there, and I couldn't do anything, and I took care of her when she was sick the first time, and I've taken care of her when she's gotten sick every time after that. And I know how she beats herself up, and I've always been the person that's to sit there and be like, it's okay, whatever it is. Like, she'll suffer in silence. She'll deal with the migraine, she'll deal with the headaches, and she'll just live in pain. And I was always there to say, come here, come lay down. Let me rub your head. Let me pull the pain out. Let me make it better. And it sucks because I feel like if you care for somebody that much and you really love somebody, you shouldn't stay away just because people tell you to. Just because everyone goes, well, if you do that, it's a sign of weakness. You need to leave her be. And I'm like, I feel so
Wait,
cold.
what's a sign of weakness? Your screen's frozen, but what's a
Ah,
sign of
shit.
weakness?
Reaching out to her. Like, I'm supposed to be part of this fucking no contact bullshit, you know.
Okay, first of all, I'm sure your mom's an awesome person. The times have changed. And also, one shoe doesn't fit all, especially when it comes to relationships. Now, just hearing, and again, thank you for sharing live. How you feeling? Let me ask you something. Just after getting some of those tears out, how do you feel? You feel more lighter, or are you feeling down?
There's more back there, man. I feel
It's about to. Yeah,
I
there's more back there. Let's
yeah,
unpack it one
I've
thing at
been
a
thinking
time. All
about
right.
the stuff, and I've just been. It's hard, man. It's so hard. Like, I think about. I have one of my friends said, "You have empathy for her, not so much other people." And I said, "You're right. I do. I have massive empathy for her, and
Are you
I
sure it's
feel for
empathy or
her.
sympathy?
It's
Big
empathy.
difference.
It's
Are
not
you
sympathy.
sure?
I do not feel pity for her, but
Okay.
I feel empathy for her.
All right.
And there's a difference between being needy and needing someone in your life and knowing what you want and wanting that someone in your life. I don't need her to go through this life. My life will be drastically different without her in it. And we've had that conversation. And I told her, like, life with you is different than life without you. I will live a different life, not 100%, not even remotely the same if you're not here. And it's not that I don't want the life with her, because I do. I want that relationship. I want that end game is a happy life for me. But if she's not going to be in it, my goals and my drive and where I'm going to be is different. I walk away from it. I do something else. I appreciated what she wanted to accomplish in life, the lifestyle that she wanted to have, and I compromise. And I could see myself doing that with her, but that's not the life I would live without her. I'd go a different way.
Well, I've asked you this question before. I might as well ask you it again. Can you accept her in everything she brings to the table? And that's the family included, the drama that comes.
Yeah.
You can.
Yes, I can.
Okay. Now, what about her belief that she doesn't know if she wants to get married and settle down?
It's not that she doesn't want to get married. She definitely wants to get married. She
Okay.
just doesn't know if she wants to get married to me.
Why?
The family drama,
That's one.
that's a big one. Then there's my stability in life. I'm not a planner. She's a planner. I'm not a planner. So
She's order your chaos.
yeah, in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's the family life. Like, I have two kids that are older,
Yeah.
and she's okay with it.
Yeah.
But she always thought that she would have her own kids. And she feels like if we got married that she would give that up. She wouldn't have kids because the age difference matters to her. She's like,
Yeah.
well, we'd have a kid. I love this kid more because it's mine. And that's not fair to your kids. And then they're going to be so far apart. And they would have this family that's not like that. Now, my life, I have two older brothers that are
Mhm.
significantly older. I did not grow up with them. Um, they're 18 years older than me. So when I was born, I don't remember growing up with my brothers at all. Um, they were out of the house when my parents moved to Georgia. They didn't come with. They were older and out of the house. They have a different father than me with the same mother. And my oldest brother, he told me that he goes, yeah, when mom and Bob moved to Georgia, we were from Chicago. He was like, I couldn't stay. I couldn't stay here. I had to move down there to be close to you guys, you know. And he did. He moved down here, and then my middle brother moved down here shortly after. And I still I we go see them, but they're older than me. Like, when I was 10, I had a nephew. you know. So I was an uncle at like 14 or some shit.
Mhm.
My nephew's 30. He's 30 years old this year. So yeah, I mean, he's a little bit older than Megan, even. And but I didn't have that. But our family was still family. Didn't matter that I didn't
Yeah.
have a brother my age or some shit. But that mattered to her. She's like, well, I wouldn't know if I want a kid. I want to start
Well,
over.
let me backtrack a little bit and maybe I can help give you some insight. So I'm going to use this word lightly, but she comes from an abusive home. and I'm using it lightly.
Right.
Let me just put it, lack of love. Okay.
Yeah.
More thinking, less heart.
Yeah.
You, my man, what I like about you is you're more heart than thinking. I'll go by the feeling of it instead of just thinking and rationaling it out. Let's just get it done.
Yeah.
Okay.
When it comes to relationships, for sure. When it comes
Okay.
to other things in my life, opposite. But
No. So
people matter.
usually you can tell, okay, so when you're growing up with a parent that can't show love, okay, and this is usually, okay, this is like, it might take a few relationships, but usually we work this shit out in our 30s and our 40s. Okay. Now, when when two people get together, there's that blissful la la land honeymoon feeling. And then reality sets in, like family members, like how are we going to coexist? You know what I'm saying? Like, so less heart, more thought, because again, we got to have balance in these worlds. So, and again, what I do find a lot is when you're dealing with parents or a parent that can't show love, and consciously or unconsciously, when their opinion means a lot to you and you're not getting it, then we're scared to fail with other people as well. Like it weighs on us. Like I won't be the best, girlfriend. I won't be the best mother. I won't be the best whatever.
Right.
So when the oxytocin and the serotonin starts to die down from two people getting together, then the brain kicks in, and the brain's going to go back from the past, whether conscious or unconscious. So she's looking at it on a level. Her rational thoughts kicked in.
Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed. Like I've never been a mother before. Now I'm responsible for their education, this and that. And then it's like, then she has her belief, which is not wrong, but she
Right.
has her belief on the way a man should be, or a partner to her should be in life, more stable, more this, more that, but more on a structured hierarchy type level. Okay. So when they got all those feelings going on the inside, which again makes us insecure, then we start looking outwards and start judging why it won't work. I'm guilty of this too. Okay, this is how I know. Because when I meet somebody and I'm falling in love and everything else, then when reality sets in and things aren't as normal, because my life has not gone that way, the rational thoughts kick in on why this isn't going to work. And that's not really fair to the person I'm in a relationship with.
Right.
It's not, it's something like, it's something that I still work out on, not an everyday level, but whether a friend's coming into my life, whether it's someone more intimate, it's like the rational thought, and all our rational thought is just our mind taking our past experiences and projecting them onto the future. That's just kind of the way the mind works. Now with M, here's another thing that you might want to look into, or just to understand. When somebody's on, say, antidepressants, okay, now SSRIs, those are the ones that really mess with the biological system. Selective serotonin uptake inhibitors. Okay. Reuptake inhibitors. There you go. There they are. So, and again, why are people on the antidepressants? I'm not judging. It's just they've
Right.
been through, as my one friend puts it, it's better than feeling fucking crippling depression. And it's absolutely right. Now, but what is that depression? That's a whole bunch of experiences and beliefs that have been very emotionally charged. So it could be neglect, it could be fear, it could be abuse, it could be whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like you literally survived your past. Then with everything being equal, you just wake up not wanting to live, or just struggling just to even put a fucking smile on your face. Okay, so then the doctor's like, here, take these. And you do it because you just want the fucking pain to stop, you know? And the older you get, the more responsibilities you get. Now, here's the other thing though. It's not a full thing, but you're not getting the whole person. You know what I'm saying? Like M would be a totally, not a completely different person, but enough that if she unpacked her past and looked at the trauma she's been through and looked how that's affected her life and everything else, lack of self-love just means more fear because some emotion has to be there, right? Now, what is the leading cause? Fear is the leading cause of obsessive compulsive disorder. Fear base. You know, it's real fucking simple. I don't need to unpack it, but we control out there because what we're feeling in here. Now, the benchmark being even for a human being, like the baseline for a human being is peace, love, and joy. I know we live in a very stressful world, and that almost seems unbelievable, or I'm just talking mad shit, but it is the truth. All you got to do is look at a baby. A baby will shit itself and want a hug. You know, if I fart, I need to leave the room and blame it on somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if she ever decides to take that journey and unpack her inner world and realizes where she puts her beliefs in what she thinks is love, what like, you know, if my parents can't love me this way, then there's something wrong with me, or I hate them because they can't, like, it's just nasty emotions, just whatever you want to label them, just nasty. So now when you go and unpack that, and she, you know, forgives her dad, accepts her dad, forgives the dad, realizes that he's his own hurt little child that grew into a man, you know, and then she, you know, stops looking at tears as weakness, starts surrendering, starts getting the body back into homeostasis without the help of SSRIs or alcohol. I'm not saying she is, I'm just giving an example for your viewers. You know, we medicate. This is the perfect example of self-medication. You know, she would be a completely different person. Now, when you start to become a change, like when I was depressed and PTSD, I just started attracting a whole bunch of broken women,
As
angry,
as far
bitter.
as she's told me, she has been off of the medication for a few months, like maybe 3 months.
That's okay.
But yeah, but I understand what you're saying. She still hasn't unpacked everything else. Like,
That's right. When she just learns to love herself and realizes that it's not dependent on anybody
right.
except her little dog, then it's like she'll see the world, she'll feel differently, so she'll see people differently, she'll see herself differently, she'll see the world
Yeah.
differently. Okay, and that's great that she's off of them. Now it's her biggest thing is just she needs to find a way to love her fucking dad and her mom without their words, their actions, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's the challenge with a lot of people, but and I've had to go through that myself. But the reward is if you can just love someone for just who they are, life gets a lot easier. It gets a lot more optimistic.
Yeah.
It's like, but until that happens, we usually kibosh things. Like, I promise you this, my man. If you move on in life and you hear from her this and that, and you hear the before, she's met a guy close to her age, making the big bucks, everything else, there's still going to be fucking problems. And it's going to be internal, not external.
And you know, like the people that know me and that knew her, one person in particular that knew both of us decently well, and she was like, you know, she's not going to find anyone else like you. And I was like,
Not supposed to.
I said, I don't think either one of us will find anyone else like each other. And I said, it's hard to it will be hard to find somebody that gets her like I did and had the patience to understand how she is and try to help her grow as a person. And I think in her previous relationships, that was a problem. You know, like they don't have patience for if she was feeling down. Why are you down? Why is it? And then it turned into an argument, and someone would yell at her. And you know, from what she's explained to me about past relationships, like they were not they were not great. And I think that
Yeah.
is probably a lot of what people do succumb to. I never understood people who fight in relationships, like yell, scream at each other. I never wrapped my head around it. And there's one time in 3 years where I did get mad and I raised my voice at her. And I remember that vividly. And I felt terrible about it. And I remember that entire night. Um, and it ended okay, but I immediately felt bad. Immediately. And I just had a lot of emotion built up, and she was at the point where she was shut down, and for no reason. She was just shut down on the day. Like it just her depression caught up to her, and it was like for someone like there's a lot of people out there who live for the weekend, right? And I think to an extent this is bred into her as well. There's a lot of people out there who work a job that is very unsatisfying and unfulfilling they do not like, and they do that all week, and they look
65% of Americans.
and they look forward to that weekend, that Saturday, that Sunday. And if they don't do something really worth the other 5 days, in those 2 days, they go down a downward spiral. Like, fuck, I wasted that, wasted my time, and now I have to go back to work. And it's another 5 miserable days until maybe I get a good day. And she had
Well,
that kind of outlook to it, like, well, Saturday, I didn't want to waste my Saturday doing nothing. And I was like, let's go do something. And she was shut down. I was like, we didn't do anything all day. You worked. I got home at 1 o'clock in the afternoon instead of 11 a.m. or something. And it was like, got a whole day ahead of us. It was probably only 1 o'clock. Well, the day is almost, half gone. And she went down this. And I remember leaving the house. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go do something fun anyway because the day is not over. I got dressed up, and I went out the door, and she was on the couch in not a good mood at all. And I was like, I'm leaving. And I got in the car and I drove down the street, and I was like, I don't know where the fuck I'm going to go. And I was so tore up inside, like, this is wrong. Every ounce of this is not okay. And I turned around and I went back and I went inside. I think I went down there and I bought like a 6-pack of beer. And I don't even like fucking the drink ever. So, I had like 6 beers, and I'm like, I came back and I put them in the fridge, and I looked at her and I was just like, what the fuck are we doing? You don't want to waste this. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not just leave you here. Like, just get up, get dressed. Let's go somewhere. Let's do something. She's like, no. I'm like, okay, then we don't have to leave. We can just stay here, but just don't just sit here and do nothing. Don't just shut down. And I did. I was mad. I did yell at her. I was like, why? I didn't, I wasn't
it's
being
somewhat,
mean, but I exploded
you're not,
and just,
you did it because you don't know how to handle mental illness.
I didn't know what to do at the time.
That's right.
And I
You're
had
seeing
seen her,
somebody,
well, I'd seen her shut down prior to this, but
but
not like, to me, there was no reason for this at all. Like, I'm here. It's okay. We're going to be fun. We're going to go do something fun. Let's go.
you
We
don't
don't need a
understand
plan.
depression, my man. And
And
that's okay.
so,
That's a good
yeah.
thing.
And that was,
Don't make it that.
I remember that. I remember that night. That was the only time that had ever happened, and I felt immediately bad. And we'd had other times where if she was in a mood like that, okay, well, we're just gonna sit here until we'll ride it out. It's gonna be okay. And that's what I would do with her. Like when she lived at her house and she would shut down, and I could tell, like, whether it was she
You
didn't answer
feel
the
it.
phone. I could feel it. Yeah, for sure. Something's wrong. And I would drive over there. I remember driving over there with my youngest son. I'm like, it was a Saturday or Sunday, and I had the kids, and she was, nope, she was on her couch in her robe at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm like, we're not doing this today. We're gonna go cheer her up. Let's go. And we went over there, rang the bell. I can see you. You're right there on the couch. Let us in. And she's like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, we're not, this is what we do. This is what we do for each other. We don't let you sit here and suffer in your own thoughts alone. We are here because even if we can't say or change it, we're going to be here with you. And we did. We sat there with her and for, 30 minutes. And she's like, we need to get going. You need to go do something with him. This is his day. I'm like, you are part of our family. And we are not leaving you like this. And we'd sit there with her. And, she would get up and move in and we can go do something. And she'll come with us. Let's go drifting. Let's go do something. And it takes time. It's not an instant fix, but I always found a way to navigate through it and be like, we'll wait it out together and then we'll get up and we'll go conquer the day. The day's not over. We can end this day better. We don't have to do this. But right now we could sit in it and watch TV or we'll look at stupid stuff on our phones or whatever it takes and we'll wait it out. And she told me in our relationship a lot, you're the only person who's ever been able to do that. Nobody else could get me out of a mood like that. When I'm in a mood, no one else could do it. You're the only person in my life who's ever come along that can get me out of this mood. And that meant something.
You're coming from a place of love.
Yeah.
So I think both of you guys needed to meet each other.
Yeah.
And really set the bar.
Yeah.
Like I think would make you more happy in life is someone who, do you know the human chakra system?
No.
No?
No.
We have energy. We have we have 7 main energy centers: heart, throat, third eye, crown, and then we have lower or sacral, duodenum, and then the root chakra. Now, the root chakra, which is at our base, that's our belief systems. So if we have no belief systems, we'll fall for anything, and we really don't have a purpose for living. Our second chakra, right above the navel or just below the navel, is our power. Is where like our money and sexual desires kind of come in. They're kind of involuted in the two. And then our gut is ego, mostly, is like how we deal with the world and people. What does your gut tell you? Well, I'm feeling this and that. Now, the lower base is like power and like safety, if you will. Power, money, safety, belief system. And when those get ignited, people can feel like a drug because you're just turned on, you're charged. You feel like taking on the world. Together we're gonna conquer this. I love touching you, I love having sex with you, like blah 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 blah. Now, and people can fall in love under those pretenses, in which most people do. But again, coming from the heart, speaking your will, seeing and feeling, she connected with you on your upper level. Most people connect on their lower level. And that's why it never, like, I've only found really one to the other. I've only found 1 or 2 people in my life that connected on all 3. And it's usually connect on all 7. Now, to connect on all 7, there's the outside influence, and then the external, and then internal. Now, you've got to be humming good on the inside, and things got to be working out on the outside for all 7 to go. I believe what I've experienced. Okay. I think what M showed you is that you can have a relationship and care with somebody and not have it be physical. Okay. Now, here's the thing though. There've been so many challenges since you guys gotten together, from lockdown, her having to be the makeshift parent, the asshole dad, this and that. And then with your own shit going on, it's like you guys really haven't had time to get to know each other on a very deeper level. Like, it's like, what if everything, I'm saying like too much. I don't want to do that. It's like, if everything is perfect, say on the external, dad either became a good guy or had a heart attack and he's gone. I'm just kidding. Don't wish that. You hit the lottery, whatever. If those boxes get checked, now you're just left with the 2 people and seeing how they relate to each other.
Yeah.
And usually how we relate is how we're feeling internally. Meaning, I can't give away love if I'm not carrying love. I can't give away anger if I'm not carrying anger. So you guys would now, this is all fantasy
Right.
because you're not accepting reality. Like, what I'm saying is that sometimes external events have to happen in order to either bring to take make people go apart or bring them together.
Right.
So I look at this world as like a one-man show. It's me in charge of me. It's me in charge of my love. It's me in charge of my joy. It's me in charge of everything. You know, because I have experienced both with a person and without a person, just feeling completely whole. We go through ups and downs. COVID lockdown for 2 years sure brought a lot of shit to the surface of like isolation, fear, whatever that I
Right.
never had to deal with ever in my life. So that was a whole new, game to unpack. So it's like your mom said, play the waiting game, make her miss you.
Well, it's every relationship coach you can even look up. That's like one of the first two rules is
That's
no
called
contact.
psychological manipulation. Your coaches and
They all
besides your mother,
say.
the coaches can go fuck themselves.
They all
All
say.
right. It's psychological manipulation. That's all it is.
Yeah. And I agree with that. And that's why I'm like, I don't, but I don't want to play a game. I want to play a mind game with somebody. I want them to know, like, I really want you to know that I hope you're okay and that I hope you're doing well. And I want to, I
Why do you
don't
have the
know.
why do you have these hopes? Because you don't think she can do it on her own? Or are you scared that she might not need you?
No, I don't. I'm not scared that I don't think that she needs me um, all the time. I do think that there are things in her life that I definitely helped her through, and I was definitely there for her for, and
Yeah.
I was a very, very positive influence on. But I want her to be happy, and there's just some things in life that I just want to share with her, and she was my family. And I don't want her to feel bad. And I don't want her to feel like people keep saying, like, well, look what she does to you. Look what she puts you through. And she doesn't
No
put
one
me
does
through
that. You're
anything.
doing that.
I'm doing it to myself.
That's right. And just so you know, you'll never make her happy. She's
Right.
got to make herself happy. Do you understand?
Yeah.
This is the big thing. This is what she's discovered in you in dealing with people like her father for most of her life. You just showed her love, and she didn't know how to handle that at
Yeah.
sometimes. But again, as she got conditioned to it and used to it and whatever, this and that, it's it's like you set the bar for her to set what she deserves. No guy should be yelling at her if she's
Yeah.
upset, whatever, this and that. You set the bar, and you're a decent fucking human being, and karma's gonna do good things for you for that. You just can't let go and let be.
Right. I
You're
don't
still
want
holding.
I
Go
don't
ahead.
want to accept the fact that she could just be gone forever. I don't want to accept it. I don't want
What
to I don't want to think that someone who affected me so much and was such a positive person in my life and shared so many amazing times with and hopes and dreams and was a part of my family. When I say my family, I mean like my family, me and my kids. I don't want to accept the fact that she's just going to be gone forever. And
First of all, you don't know that.
I don't, you're right. I do not know that.
If I could give you any advice, my friend, accept where you're at right now. Things will work out the way they should
Yeah.
for you and her.
Yeah. And like,
So
I talked to a girlfriend of mine who's been there. We met through a dating site years ago, and
I've done one of those.
yeah, and we didn't date, but we were
Same
friends, and
friends.
then she kind of got feelings for me, and then I wasn't in a good spot at all. I was wrecked from a previous relationship, and then we just, I met N, and I just all of my energy went into her. And I was going through my phone maybe like 3 months ago or something, deleting a billion phone numbers that I no longer need. Just like, who are these people, right? From the old business and just life, like your phone,
Hey,
Google
letting
stores,
go.
like, yeah, Google
Purging.
stores like all of your shit forever, right? So I'm like,
Yeah.
why do I have to scroll all this way to get to my son's name? So I was like, all right, I'm just deleting all this stuff. And I came across her name, and I was like, man, I wonder how she's been. So I just fired off a message like, hey, stranger, I haven't heard from you in forever. I hope you're doing all right. And she replied to me in like, yeah, like an hour or something. And she was like, yeah, it's like I had you in my phone as X. Like, so I wouldn't call you or text you. Um and I was like, oh, that's funny. Like, that's so crazy to me, because she's like, yeah, I just, I was getting feelings, and I just needed to block it out, but I didn't want to block your number or delete it. So I just put that on there so I wouldn't look at it or send you a message. And I was like, fair enough. But
Funny.
we've been talking, and she actually helped me get into this home that I'm in now. She was a co-signer on my lease for me, and she said, she goes, I feel like some people just need a second chance at life. And you seem like you're at a point where you need a second chance. And that's why I want to help you. And she knows all about what's going on with me and Megan. And I talked to her tonight about some stuff, and I forget where I was going with it. Oh, and she goes, well, you just need to go out and just meet new people and try to, maybe go on a date or something. And I was like, and she goes, maybe have some fun nights. And I was like, I honestly, right now, that would, I'd feel like complete shit. Like, I can't do that. I'm not built that
Would you
way.
feel like you're cheating?
I'd feel like I feel like I would be potentially impacting a future with her, and B, I'd be hurting the person that I'm with. I would be very, it wouldn't, not to say that
What if they're like, just give me the D?
yeah. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'm not, it's even still like, I feel bad.
You
I
are
had a time in my
you're,
life where that didn't matter. I had a time in my
it's
life,
like this.
but
You're getting old.
I wouldn't
You're
have cared.
like you're getting older, and some things are more important to you now.
Yeah, definitely. And
But
if,
you do need something. You need people giving you attention. You need attention.
yeah,
That's
I,
what you need. Like,
I
this is
do.
what's going to get you over the hump.
Yeah,
Like, you are the fixer. You're a mechanic for however long. You're a fucking fixer. When you meet people like M, they're they're broken on an emotional level, not
yeah,
not really like the undercover stuff.
right.
And you sniff that out like a fucking truffle pig, my friend. Just oh, problems. I got solutions. Yeah. And again, it's like, but right now, I believe one, it's like you can keep you're very invested still emotionally with them.
Yeah,
But you got to catch 22, because I believe just on an intuitive level, you don't like being alone.
you're
It's
right.
just not, you're just not wired for it
Not built
emotionally.
that way.
Yeah. You could be, but no, keep going. Here
I
you
have
are.
been. I have been that way at one point in my life. And there was a point when I was younger prior to getting married and having kids. And I was like 19, 20, 21, where I look back at it and I was like, I was a piece of shit to women. Not that I treated them bad. Not like I was like,
But you weren't always all in.
I was never all in. I wasn't even one foot in
Trying
the
to get
door. I mean, I had a roommate. He kept to himself. He was um, very to himself. He didn't really date and have relationships. He just stayed in his room. He was a nice guy, but he wasn't a ladies' guy at all, and he was very to himself. And I was driving around the sports car, riding motorcycles, out there just
Wow,
chasing
how small
tail.
is your penis?
Bro, it's so big. You don't even know. But
Just check out
there
check
was
out
a
my VIN
time,
number on my
man.
Tesla. That'll show you the
Yeah,
size.
there was a time when he was. I remember a day he was like, "Man, I've seen 3 different pair of shoes at that door in the last 24 hours. What are you doing?" I was like, like
A player.
a good
Don't hate,
day. you know?
hate the game, not the player.
And
Yeah, I've never lived like that.
I had a short-lived stint of it was look, man, I was just having fun. I was charismatic. I worked in the restaurant industry, which made it way easier. And I met people all the time. They would hire hot, attractive women at these places, and I worked there, and I
Start
was just
shitting where
like,
you eat, eh? Like Amber
man,
Heard.
dude, let me tell you, I was you would see them come in the door, and you're like, yep, that's a new one. And then, they're not going to
Hashtag
work
me
here
too.
long. And
Yeah, this is well before
ah,
2016. You might want to
well
make that
before,
disclaimer.
yeah, this is like 2004, man. This is like fucking forever. This is a different life. But I was that person, and I look back and was like, there were some good women. We were young, but there were some good women back then that I was totally a dickhead to. And
Fair enough. Did
and
you
I
forgive
look
yourself for it?
Yeah, I did. I
Good.
got
We can
married, I
move
had
on.
kids,
Let's
I
deal
was
with this.
whatever. And so
Let's
now
move it.
in my older age at 39, I'm like, don't I don't want to be on going on dates with a whole bunch of different people. I don't want to try to juggle this. And even prior to meeting M, I was on dating apps, and I had I was after that chase. Oh, I'm talking to like 4 or 5 different women. Look at this one. This one's pretty hot. This one's that. And it was just like, and then at one point, it didn't take long. I'm talking like maybe 3, 4 weeks of that, of like getting messages. And I remember being at work, and like the kid that worked for me, he was 26 or so. He was like M's age at the time. And I was like, dude, I don't have the fucking time or patience to fuck with this anymore. I literally am looking at my phone for a text message from someone who's not even it's not even a real person. So fuck this. I'm not interested. And then I just got off away from that shit, and I put my focus into to M, and I was like, you know what? There's something about her I want to pursue. Maybe I can figure it out, and maybe not. And I did. I stopped going out. I stopped doing that. But this is where I was going with that. So my other girlfriend, she goes, well, you should go do the things that you used to do. Go out, go do stuff, go do the things you love to do. And I said, you know what the problem is that all the things I love to do, I do with her. Like literally everything. She goes, no, you did stuff before her. And I said, you're right. I did. I went to open mics like 5 nights a week or 4 nights a week. I was gone. And I said, did I enjoy going to open mics? Yeah, I liked going to them. Did I go because I love doing it? No.
No,
I
because
went
you fucking
because
suck at being alone.
when I got home from work and I went home to an empty house, it was super depressing, and I didn't want to be there. So I changed. There were days I didn't even fucking go home. Just changed, showered at work, drove to Atlanta. Like I don't want to go there. I want to be so tired when I get home that I just wake up and go to work.
Okay, perfect. So now, do you want a band-aid solution, or do you want to change your life solution?
I need to change my life.
Go. Then you're going to unpack and sit in the emotion of loneliness. M is not causing it. The house isn't causing it. It's just your belief. Now, there's some shit that's happened in your life that you've repressed or suppressed way back that you're like, fuck loneliness. Because again, loneliness is a feeling, it's not a place. You know, there's people who can feel alone in Dodger Stadium, and there's people who can feel content and whole sitting on an abandoned island.
Let me tell you, I'm going to stop you right there. I'm going to tell you a short story.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So when I got divorced, it was December. I got served my divorce papers on Christmas Eve. We sat down and went over them. It was really rough for me. I'm supposed to wake up, have Christmas Day with my kids, fucking read fucking divorce papers. And my birthday is New Year's Day. I had Christmas with the kids, and I'd been living in a different room in the house for a while. And I was at work, and I was like, you know what? I wasn't gonna have my kids on my birthday. We were already splitting up the time. I didn't want to sit at home alone, and I had just been pretty well wrecked by another person in my life that was there for me through the entire divorce situation. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go on a trip. So I wanted to go see one of my favorite comedians. He was going to be performing in Los Angeles on my birthday. Theo Von. I wanted to go see Theo Von. He was going to be at the Comedy Store on my birthday. Couldn't get a ticket. I was like, well, fuck. That sucks. I had two choices. In my brain, I'm going to go to Miami or I'm going to go to Las Vegas. So I went online. I looked at prices. Look, it's like the 29th of December. I'm trying to go somewhere like tomorrow. So expensive. Right? Like, so crazy expensive. So I end up booking a flight to Vegas to stay at fucking medieval hotel or whatever the fuck casino it is. It's like $1,300. I book it, and I'm like, I'm going to Vegas, my birthday by myself, and I don't want to be alone. And I told myself it's hard to be sad and alone when you're surrounded by a billion people who are having a great time. So, the night I was going, or the night I was going the next morning, I drove down to Atlanta. I tried to message the person who wrecked me and was like, I'm going to Vegas. I want you to come. I'll get you a ticket. Let's go. She was like, no. I was like, okay. So I was always...
About the ex-wife?
No. This is somebody else.
Someone from another life. Okay,
yeah. Someone from another life. And I drove up to my mom's house, and I stayed there that night, and I got it. My flight left at like 11 a.m. or something. So I slept on my mom's couch, and I got up at like 9:15 in the morning, and I was like, every bit of me doesn't want it. Like, I just want to stay here. I want to go. I really wanted to spend my birthday with this other woman who was there for me, and that wasn't going to happen. So I drove down to Atlanta. I'm like, I'm going to miss this fucking plane. And I got to the airport, parked the car, put my earbuds in, and I literally played the Joe Rogan clips, motivation clips that I listen to all the time on repeat. And I cried through the fucking airport, get on that fucking plane, and leave. And I flew to Vegas. I landed, and I've never felt so alone than being in a place where I don't know fucking anybody. There's no one I can call. There's nowhere I can go that's familiar. And so I was like, well, I'm going to make the best of it. And I checked into my hotel, which takes, unbeknownst to me, it takes like a fucking a vacation to check into a hotel in Vegas. It takes forever. So I was in line for like 4.5 fucking hours to check into a hotel. Oh, it's insane, bro. I check in, and I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go walk around, see some stuff. Went to a dispensary. I don't smoke weed or any of that shit in my life, but it's legal there. I'm going to go check it out. I go there, and I spend like $215 at the dispensary. I bought gummy worms and fucking chocolate and oil and a vape pen, all this shit. I'm gonna be there for 3 days, right?
Yeah.
I get in the parking lot and I call an Uber, take me back to the hotel, and I'm just eating these fucking gummy bears. Like I ate a pack of gummy bears, and I'm texting my buddy in Atlanta, who he smokes weed or whatever. And I was like, Jay, you really like this place? Like all that shit. I'm like, I don't know anything about it, but I just bought all this stuff, and I ate this pack of gummy bears. And he's like, you ate a gummy bear? I was like, no, I ate this pack of gummy bears. It's not that big. It's like a gummy pack, you know. He's like, dude, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know. It just seemed like the amount you would eat. And he was like, you're gonna wake up Tuesday. And I was like, what? I'll be fine. I went back to the hotel. It was like 7 p.m. or some shit. You know, there's a time difference, so I was already kind of tired. Dude, I was out, and I woke up the next day, and I was like, fuck. All right, well, there's one day going. So I went around Vegas, and it was New Year's Eve. I looked at stuff. I walked around and took pictures of some shit and shopped. I went and bought myself an outfit that was stupid expensive. It was like a shirt and pants was like $500 fucking dollars. But I looked good. I felt good. I'm gonna go out tonight to one of these crazy things I see on the internet party, and I'm walking the strip, and there's a guy who's like, "Hey man, you know New Year's Eve, fucking bar crawl. We're going here. We're gonna end at the J. Cole concert." And I was like, "Yeah, maybe, whatever." I go the rest of the day, and I didn't have anything planned to do, so I see that guy again, and I'm like, "All right, man, I'm gonna fucking do this shit." Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it was a bust and a half, bro. It was like the first bar was lame. There was no people there. It was like just the people who signed up who are all kind of like me, who are like, the fuck are we doing here? And we walked to another bar. It was a shit show. And we end up at this club with J. Cole, who I didn't even know the fuck J. Cole was at the time. Like, I didn't know who that is. Some fucking rapper singer. He was real popular. Pretty popular. Of course.
Okay.
But the club was lame, and I found myself surrounded by a bunch of couples. And I was like, this sucks. So I left. I left the place at like before midnight. It was like 11 o'clock. I went back to my hotel. I played a couple casino games, and every ounce of my body was like, what the fuck are you doing here? And I went back to my room. I called the travel company I booked it through, and I said, I want a flight to Atlanta tomorrow. Like, when can I leave? And they're like, well, it's going to cost you to change the flight. I'm like, give a fuck. I don't care. And they're like, that's like $100 more. I'm like, what time do I leave? All right, well, I had the flight at 9 a.m. Bet. Be there. Packed my shit, took a nap, got up, went to the airport, flew home. And that day was, I had that entire experience, which wasn't fulfilling or happy for me. And I didn't tell anyone I was coming home. Just got on a plane, flew home. I'm driving back to my house. I text my kid. I was like, hey, buddy, my birthday, I'd like to see you. I'm coming home. And he's like, all right, we're headed back from Uncle Zach's. I'm like, cool. And I got home, and there was another car in my driveway. Not my car, not her car, not our family car. I know exactly whose car that is. And so, yeah, there's another dude at my house that my wife had there. Well, that I was getting divorced from. My bedroom was downstairs. I walked in, closed the door, went in my room, stuff away, went in the kitchen, got a drink, went back to my room. She comes downstairs and she's like, you're home? I was like, nope, not even here. And she's like, I didn't think you were coming home till tomorrow. And I was like, not even here. And let me tell you, old boy snuck the fuck out of that house in a heartbeat. And she came downstairs and she laid into me. She laid into my ass. And that was a low. That was a low, man. And I told her I'd never feel like that again. Like I would never. I took it. I cried. I stayed in that room for 3 days. And every day she'd come in. You get up, fucking go to work. You can't just fucking stay here. You need to get up and do something. And I said, I'll get up when I'm good and goddamn ready.
I
And
just look at her and be like, now I know why you're single.
I said, and I said, I get up and get up when I'm good and goddamn ready. And I said, I promise you this. When I get up, you will not be in my way. And I did. I took 3 days. I slept, cried a lot, and I got up. And I went back. I went back from that. But that's it goes to say, like I'm not. I don't do well alone. I'm not built for that. I've tried to run from it, and it's a super temporary solution for me to run from that feeling. And there were times where I would just sit at home and paint and stuff, but I still had, I had my energy into somebody that just may not have flourished yet.
Well, how's this, my man? It's like there's a saying, when you turn loneliness into solitude, you've healed. Or you'll know peace, you'll know the joy of the world. It gets spun around a few times, but it is the truth. Loneliness into solitude. That is now that's what you can do if you want to grow consciously, internally, and never go through this again, no matter what life throws at you. Never have that fear or feeling of loneliness because it's inside of you. It's a belief system that's been reinforced by your own thoughts, by experiences, everything else. So, or you can take the old habits and whatever and start distracting yourself and whatever. Now, life is throwing you a bit of a conundrum because before you could spend your way out of it too.
Yeah,
Can't
I
do
could.
that now, can you?
No, I
Couldn't
cannot.
be not with a clean conscience. You couldn't.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
bad idea.
So, but here's the thing, though. But this is the beautiful part about life. It's like because I promise you, a better life, even better than what you've had, is on the other side of that loneliness, that feeling. Okay. Now, the gift of meeting M is she's brought it right to the surface. Now, again, it's a feeling. It's a feeling created by a belief. Now, you remember A.S.L.E.F.T. When you surrender, you set the intention being like, I know I'm feeling lonely. Because again, you were in fucking Vegas with people and felt alone as fuck. It's
Yeah,
a feeling. It's not a place.
right.
Okay? So when you set that clear intention, I'm going to turn loneliness into solitude. I'm going to get rid of this feeling that we label loneliness. You can, it's possible. So the journey starts. You start surrendering. Okay. And eventually, like, you're watching sad movies, reading sad shit, whatever the fuck. And it'll keep going out. And it'll take you back to a place, to a person, to a time that fucking created that feeling of loneliness in you. It's an illusion. It's a straight up illusion that we need other people for us to feel whole.
Right.
Okay. Like, and this world is reinforcing that. That's not time you're not going to feel lonely because it's Christmas or this and that. But sure, but it comes and it goes. It doesn't sit there and weigh and been like, am I going to drive 40 minutes to a strip club? Am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? It's when you sit in it and you get back to being whole. So you surrender it all out. It's okay. All right. You're pretty much like when you're dealing with a shit feeling like loneliness, you have to be willing to live with it forever and it never changes. That's true acceptance. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but loneliness, sure. Fear, anger, sorrow, despair, grief. Sometimes you got to tell yourself when you're in the moment and you're stuck and you're about to make a stupid decision, you got to be like, this too shall pass. I accept the feelings here. And to create something as powerful as loneliness, okay, it's going to come in waves because it's basically attached to, again, I'll call it a word, trauma. Something happened in life that just fucked with you, or it was a way of life. So it was never something stupid, horrible, or whatever, but that void never got filled.
Right.
And we believe that it was external. So you're gonna start shutting off the external world. It's not your relationship status that makes you lonely. It's not your financial. It's not this. It's not that. Now, but again, you are wired, because I do believe it's part of your path, that you like to help people, that you like connecting with people, listening to people, talking to people. Okay, so you like attention. It doesn't mean you're a baby. It doesn't mean you're into drama, whatever. But you like attention from people. You like connecting with people.
Yeah.
So do that. If you're gonna do that, instead of just sitting in your loneliness, then you're gonna do it in a positive way. And no, driving 40 minutes to a TNA bar is not that solution, because
Right.
that's a distraction.
Yeah.
Okay. But say you're going to start, say, hosting groups at your house, helping people get over lockdown. You know what I'm saying? Like, where you're the focal point, you're there just to get everyone out. It's like, fill that void, okay, for attention, because that's what it is, but do it in a positive, constructive way. And in those times you are alone, know that when you say it's the house that makes me feel lonely, my relationship status that makes me feel lonely, cancel that, because that's the lie you're telling yourself that's creating the feelings. And in this case, it's loneliness. It's a lie. So when you're like, oh, this sucks, the house sucks. No, it doesn't. Yeah. Oh, this sucks because I'm alone. No, it's just, it's a feeling I got that I've had for so long that anytime the trigger comes along, like, I'm alone. Like, you talk about coming home to an empty house, I'd be fucking clicking my heels. I'd be running around naked. I would like, it'd probably go about 2 to 3 weeks before I missed another human being. You know what I'm saying? It's just because I've been surrounded by fucking people I got to look after, either from a parental or I'm the parent. You know what I'm saying? Like, looking after a
Right.
senior, looking after a kid. And it's like, and if both of those people are gone, I mean, yay. So, um, but again, we are social creatures. We all, like, we shouldn't be locked up and we shouldn't be isolated. So if you're going to do something with it, then make it rewarding, make it positive. Like, even if you say you write a fucking novel, the loneliness, or you write a song, or you draw a picture, you're expressing, you are getting the emotion out. You are not distracting, you are feeling it, and you are expressing it in a healthy way. But when you can't do those things and it's just you in your mind, sit in it. You set the intention. I'm going to turn loneliness into solitude. Because it's an illusion. What you are feeling is an illusion created by beliefs.
Yeah.
Now it's 11:35 at night. I can't go breaking down silencing the ego, meditation, whatever this not. We could always do it another time. But for right now, what you're going through, just accept where you're at. Be grateful for the experiences that you've had. Have faith that you will have these experiences again. You will feel the wholeness feelings again. I'm not saying with who,
Yeah.
and the life ain't showing you with who, but life's not over. This is how you're going to reprogram your mind to be whole. That's it. That's all I want for you. It's just to be whole. No matter how much money you have, no matter who is in your life or not in your life. And this is how you start the journey. We can always have another talk about it again.
Yeah.
But just start setting the intention that you're going to take this feeling that you have labeled loneliness and you're going to turn it into solitude. And
Yeah.
don't let your ego mind that bases everything on the five senses tell you otherwise. That's the illusion. That's not happening. We just believe it is. But we have to have experiences, which I've had many of that. My feelings have changed in an instant where my situation has not. But I'll
Right.
show you some magic though. My feelings changed and then my situations changed. Sometimes little feelings, little changes. Big feelings, big fucking changes. And usually positive because I surrendered and I got rid of the negative. And then all of a sudden,
I
shit's
tend to
working
make
out.
I tend to make bad decisions when I get emotionally down. I do.
Don't we? Don't we all?
I mean, I do. I even like trading. I'm an options trader, and there are
Yeah.
days where I am having highs, and if I don't feel well, I will watch me be up. I could be up hundreds of $1,000, and I will watch it go to zero.
Yep.
And
Because
I
you're in self-destruct mode.
and I am. I'm in self-destruct mode, and I'll watch it
Yep.
happen, and I'm like, I made a bad trade. Why?
So
Because
that's a
I wasn't in it. My brain
yep.
is elsewhere. My
You weren't in the present
subconsciously,
moment.
I was like, yep, we're gonna watch this burn
Yep.
because everything kind of sucks right now. And even
Yep.
though that was great, and you could have just walked away, what are you gonna do with the
Nope.
rest of your day? Nope, we're gonna
Yep.
watch this burn, and then we're gonna hate ourselves for doing it. I've done that a few
Perfect.
times, and it sucks. And I'm gonna break that habit tomorrow for sure. I'm not gonna do that again. And it is tough, man. It's all of it's hard. And I'll
It's
tell you this, I've never been more unhappy than when I was chasing money. Never been more unhappy than that. And I see like a lot of motivational and people like, get your side hustle, start your business, start doing this, go get this, work harder, do this. I can tell you, money doesn't make you happy, but it can definitely relieve some stress in your life and make life easier. It can also add to your stress, chasing it. You've got to find a balance to where it's like some shit don't matter, man. Fuck.
well, money does matter.
Money does
But
matter.
have the right energy step into the table to trade.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
everything I just told you is an internal solution.
Right.
You might want to turn on Joe Rogan's podcast when he had Wim Hof on. Start doing some of his breathing techniques if you're feeling stuck.
Yeah.
That's just getting out of your mind and getting into your body. Dr. Joe Dispenza, he hasn't let me down. I only started getting into his work, but my work and his work are kind of the same. You fucking yawning
I
on
did
me,
have a yawn.
motherfucker? You fucking yawning?
A yawn.
So, but yeah, set the intention that you're going to take this feeling and put it into solitude. You're going to feel whole no matter what's happening. All right. You're going to get your energy up. But we got to go through the darkness to get to the light,
Yeah.
and you've obviously proven it that you can't distract your way out of it.
I
But you
cannot.
also, but you cannot, but blaming others and blaming yourself and blaming a situation, that's not going to help either. There's a feeling that when you feel it, you make bad decisions and you hate this feeling and it sucks and it fucks up your day, fucks up your week, fucks up your month. It's just a
Yeah.
feeling created by beliefs. So instead of trying to change the beliefs, which you are, because you're going to say, your mind's going to drift to M, it's going to drift to money, it's going to drift to this, it's going to drift to that, all external things, which again is an illusion because that means you're just a victim to your life.
Right.
If life's going right, then I can feel right. But if life's going wrong, then I got to feel bad. That's the illusion.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So yeah, loneliness into solitude and keep setting the intention. I know it's not right now, but I'm going to turn loneliness into solitude over and over again and keep surrendering, but don't allow your mind to put the reasons why you're lonely into the external world. And as you keep surrendering, it's going to take you back and past and the past and the past, and it'll literally give you all the reasons why you believed you should be lonely.
Right.
And knowing A.S.L.E.F.T, apply that. It might be something you never forgave, say, on a parental figure. It might be something you never accepted. It might be, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But once you feel that you can be whole by yourself, then as soon as you feel that, as soon as you felt that for an afternoon, a night, a day, 2 days, 3 days, say 4 days out of 5 days, you're going to know you're onto the truth. and you're going to feel stronger, and you're going to feel more whole. You just got to believe. That's it. Because remember, our baseline is peace, love, and joy. No matter what's going on.
Yeah.
So, having said that, it's 1:45. I'm turning into a pumpkin, brother.
All right. I'm gonna leave him with a Steve Harvey saying. I'm gonna leave him with Steve Harvey because I saw this one today. Resonates with me a bit. I think some people just need to hear this shit sometimes. So I'm gonna leave him with that. I'm gonna put on the mic because you couldn't hear it before. With it, I'm gonna play it for you.
These people that's in your life that ain't doing nothing. Get away from people in your life that's hating. Get away from your family members that ain't ever opened a business. Get away from your family members that ain't ever followed their dreams. Get away from your family members ain't never been nowhere but to the family reunion. Get away from them. Get away from them. I had to do it.
Yeah?
When I told everybody I was getting
There you
away
go.
from these people that's in your life that ain't doing nothing. Get away from people in your life that's hating. Get away from your family members that ain't ever opened a business. Get away from your family members that ain't ever followed their dreams. Get away from your family members that ain't never been nowhere but to the family reunion. Get away from them. Get away from them. I had to do it. When I told everybody I was getting into comedy, man, oh Lord have mercy. You can't get into comedy. You ain't even funny. How you gonna make money telling jokes? Now, in the beginning, it looked like they was right, but I never gave up. Get away.
That's right. I need to hear that shit, I think, sometimes.
It's just like, now sometimes you can't get away from negative people. You can't get away from negative family members and whatever, but you also can learn how to observe and not absorb.
Yeah.
Knowing that that's their shitty life, projecting their shitty thoughts on what you should do, and that's why you should go kill your hopes and dreams. Fuck them.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you can, just stick with positive people. But if you can't, don't absorb. Just know that their life is shit. You didn't cause it, but their life is shit, and they're just projecting.
Yeah.
So,
all right,
man.
Yep.
Say good night, brother.
All right, buddy. You have a good night.
All right. Thank you for your time, and thank you for sharing.
Absolutely. See ya.
Remember. Later, pal.
All right, people. It is just me. We are back to just me. If you listen to this, I hope you got something out of it. It has been it's been difficult this this last week and a half, 2 weeks. It's been a tough time for me. Still a tough time. And I thank Jeff for being a part of the show and talking to me about it. He has talked to me through a few things. I'm gonna talk to Maria again tomorrow as well. I think we're gonna try to make time for that. If you saw that podcast, I got her book and I read through some of it, and I wanted to talk to her about some of that and some of the turmoil that's going on with me, because I'm not super religious, but I'm reading her book and I'm looking for answers in my own life. So I'm going to talk to her, and maybe we'll talk about it somewhat on the podcast, or maybe we'll just talk about it and I'll recap it. But thanks for coming on the show. And if you watch this when it's not live, you can still leave us comments and we can still address it and get you on later. Also, you can get some links below to some of Jeff's websites if you want to reach out to Jeff as well. They're in the description of this video. And see you guys later.